Hi everyone and welcome. Today we'll be going over your Talking Points for Teachers account and how you can use it to have more meaningful communication with your families. First, of course, I will go over how to log into Talking Points if this is your first time logging in. For Syracuse City School District teachers specifically, you'll be able to log into Talking Points using your Clever single sign-on. To get to your Clever single sign-on, you'll first need to go to the About page on the SCSD district homepage. I'm sorry that the image is a little bit blurry, but we'll take what we can get and make it work. So under your About page, you will be able to click on the Libraries icon right here. Once you have clicked on the Libraries icon, you will be able to, on the left-hand side, find the Clever name here near the bottom. And from the Clever homepage, then you'll be able to choose the Talking Points icon from Teacher Only Applications. And as soon as you click that little icon, you'll be brought into Talking Points. And once you're in the Talking Points for Teachers account, this is brand new and redesigned. So if you were using Talking Points last year and this looks a little bit different than what you had seen before, don't worry, it's not a mistake. We made some changes to hopefully make Talking Points a little bit better for you to use. We're always taking feedback and improving. So definitely making sure that Talking Points continues to be a tool that provides you with great communication with your families. And while I am on this page, I want to go over first some of the basics of what Talking Points is and how we can hopefully help you have better communication with your families. And first and foremost, that is because Talking Points is a two-way multilingual family engagement platform. And we translate our messages back and forth from families into over 100 languages. That was not a mistake, I did say over 100. The beauty of it is that you can go ahead and send a message using the send a message button here and compose a message. And whether your message is going to an announcement to one or more class periods that you have, or to a couple students' families in your class, you can rest assured that every single one of those messages will automatically be sent to them in their preferred home language. So that means that you as a teacher aren't going to have to take time out of your day to figure out which languages a family speaks, go into Google Translate, copy and paste it back and forth, because all of that translation we will do for you automatically. In addition, Talking Points delivers all of our messages to families by default through basic SMS text. We are completely an opt-out platform, so families won't have to download anything or sign up for anything extra in order to be able to receive those messages from you. As soon as you start sending them, they're going to start getting them as regular old text messages to their phones. But that being said, we do have an optional and completely free application that families can download either on iPhone or Android if they would rather use that app. So once you have that's the basics that we got out of the way, and once you have your recipient selected, you can go ahead and start composing a message. And you have a few different options for composing. You can either just go ahead and type it in fresh, or you can select from any templates that you might have. We create some templates for you, including a nice introductory message here, but you can also save your own template messages, and your school leaders can save messages for you if they have a template or a message that they want you to send to your families on a regular basis. Since this is the first message that I will be demonstrating, I want to go ahead and send it as an introductory message to families. So I have already selected, like you saw, this introductory message that Talking Points creates for you. It says, "Hi, I'm teacher signature," and your teacher signature is a merged field that you'll be able to set so that it'll automatically send your own personal teacher's signature to your families. It says, "I will be sending you messages about my class. You can always reply to this message to reach me." That's another important thing, is that if and when families are receiving messages in a language other than English, they will not only be able to receive it in their home language, but they'll also be able to reply in that same home language, and it'll come back to you in English. They can also, because again, we are completely an opt-out model and they don't have to download anything, they do have the option to unsubscribe later on if they decide that they don't want to receive those messages. So they can text goodbye to unsubscribe. And there is information about our free app, which again they can use for some additional features if they have an iPhone or Android. But the app is optional, so you can maybe add in a free optional app to see more. And below the message, you likely have noticed that there is a character limit counter. All of Talking Points messages do have a character limit of 320 characters, and that is again in place because families are receiving messages through SMS text. And some cell phone carriers of messages are longer than that, tend to break them up into smaller, weird, hard to understand chunks. So we do recommend that you keep your messages succinct to the point and best to understand for families. That being said, if you do need to send messages longer than 320 characters, you can just go ahead and send that as multiple messages back to back using Talking Points. To your messages, you can also attach files, you can attach images and videos, Google Drive, poll questions, and background colors that families who are using the app would be able to see on their end. One thing to keep in mind with these attachments is that we do not translate the attachments that are sent to your messages. We will only translate whatever is in here within the 320 characters. So feel free to attach PDFs or newsletters or class assignments to Talking Points messages, but do remember that those will arrive as you sent them in English, or if you attach them in another language, they will be sent exactly as you have attached them. In terms of the poll questions, you can set multiple choice options. So if you ask families a question, you can send response options like yes and no or maybe, and you can get some replies from your families. And once you are sure that your message is ready to go, you can either go ahead and send it right away, click send, or you can click on schedule. We really recommend taking advantage of this schedule function because it'll allow you to not only set more of a routine with your families if they're knowing that they should expect messages from you at a certain time or on certain days, but scheduling a message also gives you a little bit more flexibility in terms of editing and removing messages before families have received them. We often get the question that, a teacher or a school administrator sent a message erroneously to the wrong family or with the wrong information, and you want to know how to delete it. But unfortunately, once a message has gone out to families, it can no longer be deleted. So if you want the option to double check, give yourself a second look, give your message a second look before it's gone out, you can definitely go ahead and schedule. So I'm going to show that now. Once you click the schedule button, you'll be able to select which date or time you want it to go out. You can send messages as far out in advance as you'd like to if you want to schedule something for August of 2021, or you can schedule it for a few minutes ahead of time, again, to give yourself a little extra peace of mind before it's sent out. So I've set my date and time, and I'm going to go ahead and click schedule, and it'll tell me that my message has been scheduled. In here, in your home page, you'll also have another compose button, which will allow you to send announcements to your families, same as I showed before. You will have a list of your recent response messages that families have responded to, and your recent announcements. In Talking Points, we do differentiate between messages, which are just one-on-one direct conversations with a particular student's family, or announcements, which are those blasts or bulk messages that go out to an entire class. But rest assured that even messages that are going to lots and lots of recipients, Talking Points will never make their information visible to each other. So families will never have any idea that it's gone to anyone else, and they'll only be able to see your message and reply back to you. They'll never be able to see each other's responses. And while we're on the topic of privacy, although Talking Points is sending messages to families by text, your personal phone number will also never be visible to them. They will see a third-party phone number that we pay for through our cell phone carrier and not your own personal number, so that will never be compromised. And once you have messages here, you can scroll down, view all of them, and we'll give you this really awesome activity dashboard, which will show you how many messages you've sent in the past 30 days, announcements, and how many of those have been responded to by families. It'll give you some great data on how your account has been used and what type of engagement you're having with your families. Below your homepage, you'll be able to see your messages page and any conversation threads that have gone back and forth between yourself and your families. Here you can also send an announcement to families. It'll automatically put in this intro message, but you can of course delete it, compose your own message, or select from any of your other templates. In each individual message thread, you'll be able to see the communication that has gone back and forth between you and families. Next to the message that you have sent to families, you'll be able to show this translation and see what message was sent to families in their home languages. So my family currently has 2 contacts who are receiving messages in Spanish and Hebrew, so you'll be able to see both of the translations that were received by families. And once families start to respond, like in this message, you'll not only be able to see the original message that they sent in their home language, but you will also be able to click this Help Me Understand button. This is something that is unique to Talking Points because our platform is the only one that not only utilizes machine, but also human translators. So you'll be able to, maybe you didn't quite understand a message that a family sent back to you, you'll be able to use this little question mark icon to request additional review of the message. You can send it back to one of our awesome human translators to get an updated, cleaner, more understandable version of the translation for yourself. In this message thread, you can also write a message to this specific family, attach all of the same awesome options, and schedule messages. And if you click on these little 3 dots next to the student's name, you'll be able to view their student details, their name, what classes they're a part of, their family members' information and relationships. You can print the conversation. So if you wanted to keep a record of this conversation or send it to your administrator if you need to do any sort of reporting, you can select the date range from which you want to save that communication. You can also opt to include the message in their original language if that family is receiving messages in a language other than English. And you can click print and it'll generate a PDF for you that again you can keep for your records or share with your administration as needed. You can also view chat as another teacher if you share a class with a particular other teacher. You both have insight into the communication that has been happening by both staff members and the school's account. So that again, you're maybe not sending duplicate information or families aren't getting overwhelmed with the amount of communication that they're receiving. So you can select another staff member's name and view the communication that has gone back and forth between them and this particular student's family. Keep in mind that if you are a part of a school or district that is rostering through Clever or ClassLink, you will not have the ability to edit the student's information. Any editing that needs to be done of a student's information or family contact information should be done in your student information system, since we are pulling directly from there. If you have any questions about this, please reach out to your school administrator as they will have maybe a little bit more insight into where and how those changes can be made. Maybe a family informs you that this is a wrong phone number. Again, those changes should be run past your school administration. And you'll notice this little calendar icon up at the top of your messages. Since we've already scheduled a message, that is where this is going to show up. So it'll show you the message that you have scheduled, who it's going to, and when it's scheduled for. And again, as mentioned, scheduling messages is awesome because this will give you a lot more ability to edit the messages, make changes, and make sure that it has all of the right information before it's gone out. If you scheduled it to give yourself ability to check it before it goes, and you took a second look and you determine that it's great, and you don't want to wait until next Friday to send it, or this Friday, I guess, you can either edit it and make whatever changes are necessary. You can cancel it altogether if you decide that you don't want it to go out after all, or you can send it immediately, and this will bypass the schedule and just send it right now. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this message. And that is about it for our messages thread. In addition, in your account below that, all of your communication will be organized as you saw based on your particular classes. If you click on this drop down, it'll show you all of the class lists that you have in your account. You, as a teacher, have the ability to accept or decline, but you will be provided all of these classes from your school or district in your student information system exactly as they appear there. In a particular class, you can click on it, you can click on the three dots and say See Students. You will not have the ability to share, rename, or archive and delete a class because, again, those will be provided to you from your school administration, but you can see the students. And this will show you the entire list of all the students who are in that class. You can send this entire class an announcement. It'll automatically be sending it to that particular ELA period. You can search for students. You can change the way that it's sorted. Or again, you can see the class's details there. If you wanted to send a message to not all of the class, but a few of them, you can select some students. You can send a message, or you can copy them to another group that you've created. So if you wanted to create a special reading group, you could do so in your account as well. And in here, it'll also tell you the status through which families are receiving your messages, whether it be our default, which is, as mentioned, the Talking Points parent app is optional, so SMS will be the default. But if they have downloaded the optional app, you'll be able to see so here. And there are a couple of benefits to families downloading the app, one of which is read receipts. For any families who have downloaded the app, we will be able to provide you read receipts telling you when they have read your message. But unfortunately, if they are only receiving messages through basic SMS text, those read receipts are not something that we have access to because it's information from the cell phone carrier. So that may be one reason that you would encourage families to download. Another reason would be our amazing text-to-speech option. So for any families that have limited or no literacy in their home language, the Talking Points for Parents app allows them to have the message read out in their home language so that they don't have to worry about having written communication with you. Or you can click on this little message button and that'll again bring you back to the messages with this family and allow you to send messages. Below the classes list, which is super important, is our Help Center. This will bring you to our Help Center that has a ton of amazing articles that my colleague Paige has created and updated that give you tips and tricks on how to get started or send messages, or if you have any questions about privacy. There's so many awesome pieces of information that can be found here, including under the guides and printables, our previously recorded versions of this same webinar in case you missed something or in case you just want a refresher. Maybe it's been a long summer and you forgot a little bit of how to use Talking Points or got confused by the new update. So definitely please take advantage of that awesome Help Center that we have for you. And the last thing that I wanted to go over in the Talking Points web application before I show you the Talking Points for Teachers mobile application is your profile settings. So if you click on your name in the bottom corner of the screen, you'll be able to go to your settings. Here is where you can set your teacher's signature, which I mentioned earlier. This is what will arrive to families when you send a message so that they know exactly who that message is going to. You can also change your name information. Your email will not be able to be changed since that is how you're logging in and has been provided by our school administration. But you can also set a second language. If you are an amazing multilingual teacher, you can actually use this second language option to help you bypass the translation that we provide. So if you wanted to compose a message directly in Spanish, like Mr. Newton here, you can do so to families who also have Spanish set as their language. You can also modify your school settings, your role, your grade levels, your subject, your notification settings. Talking Points will default to sending you messages for every incoming message by email. You can change the frequency of that, or you can also opt to receive messages by text. And again, even if you put your personal phone number in here, that will never be visible to families when they receive messages from you. That is just for our personal Talking Points use so that we can send you your notifications. But keep in mind that Talking Points will only send you these email or text notifications if the application is closed. If you have it open in a window on your computer, our system is going to assume that you're seeing the messages in real time and you won't get an email alert. So if you want to get those email alerts, make sure to close the tab or log out to be able to get those. And you can also really awesomely set office hours. So you can set the office hours from which you will be available, and any messages that come in outside of those hours of 5 to 3, in this case for Mr. Newton, he's an early bird, will be saved essentially for the next day. So once 5:01 hits around, Mr. Newton is going to receive a message, an email telling him that he got 30 messages, hopefully while he was away, that he can respond to. You can always log into Talking Points and respond to those ahead of time. They will be visible in your account. You just won't get an email notification or text notification about them. You can also change your password here. This portion of the account is especially important for anyone who is using Clever, since you will first need to set a password before you can log into your account on your mobile phone. And you can also view your school year settings. And this school year setting is primarily for anyone who has been using Talking Points for more than 1 year. We will automatically archive your messages from the past school year. So that's why this account currently only has 2 message threads. If I wanted to view the messages from last school year, I can click on it and go back to my messages, and I'll see all of my communication that previously happened with my families in the past school year. And that about covers it for the Talking Points website application. Again, next I will quickly go through the Talking Points for Teachers mobile app. Now I am going to switch over and show you the Talking Points for Teachers mobile application. This mobile application is pretty similar to the website application, and they are completely one and the same, essentially. You can use both if you want to sit at your computer some days, but maybe when you're on a socially distanced walk, you want to be able to respond to families as well, or you can use one or the other. They are both completely hand in hand, and they will show the same account information. And you can download the Talking Points for Teachers mobile app on either iPhone or Android if you go into your app store. But do make sure that you are downloading the right one, since as mentioned, we do have an app for parents as well. Sometimes teachers will get confused and download the parent app, and sometimes parents will get confused and download the teachers app. So make sure that you've downloaded the Talking Points for Teachers app. It should have a little white icon, and go ahead and log in. You'll have a few screens here that show you information about Talking Points, and then you can go ahead and sign in. So it automatically brings you to the sign up screen, but since you are already a school teacher, you can click sign in the top right. You will have similar options to logging in through the web application as you do on your phone. But again, as mentioned, if you're using Clever or ClassLink, you will first need to set a password on their computer before you can log in on the phone. And once you've done so, you can go ahead and sign in with your email. And make sure you are typing and using the same email that you use to sign in on your computer. Sometimes we get teachers who log in on their phones and don't see the same information as they do on their computers. And that is typically because maybe you signed up for an account for free with your personal email before your school purchased Talking Points for you. So make sure that you are logging in with the correct email address here, and you should see all of the same stuff. Once you're in, you'll be brought immediately into your home screen, and you will have two options appear at the top for sending messages. Again, you can send a class announcement, which is one of those blasts that can be sent to one or more classes. You can send it to all of them or select just a couple. You can type your message as normal. Even though the character counter is not shown here, it still does apply. Still is a limit of 320 characters. You can add photos, videos, documents, or polls as well. You can select from our templates that we've generated for you. You can add those fun background colors for any families using the optional parent app. And you can pre-schedule messages as well, all the same as you can do on your computer. The same goes for any direct messages that you send to one or more individual families. Add all the same things, schedule your messages as normal. And below that, you will get your great summary of your recent direct messages with families and your recent announcements. And if you scroll below that, you will have your summary from the last month about the messages that you've sent. In addition, and this is something that is not going to be here currently because we are just wrapping up the summer, but Talking Points will also provide you some really awesome articles and suggestions in your home screen if you scroll down that you can read, that you can look into, or that you can completely ignore if you would rather do so. Completely optional, they're just there for your help if you so choose to take it. You can view your recent messages a couple of ways. So you can either view all of your messages by clicking See All, or you can click directly on the Messages tab that it brought you to. Up in the top left of the screen, you'll have your scheduled messages box where any pre-scheduled messages will show up. I did already, as you may remember, cancel the message that I scheduled on the computer, but if that were still present, it would show up in here. You also have a little compose button up at the top right, which will allow you to send direct messages from this screen as well to one or more families or classes from your account. And in each individual message thread, you'll also be able to view all the communication that has gone back and forth between a particular family and yourself. As mentioned, for any families that are using the Talking Points for Parents app, it'll tell you that the message has been read underneath it, as well as differentiating between these announcements in white versus individual messages in blue. And you can also view any polls that you've sent, as well as clicking on it to view the full details of exactly which family member. It decided that it has not wanted to load today, but you'll be able to view the information of specifically which family members have responded to each option. And for any family's responses, you'll also be able to view the original translation that they sent to you by clicking that Show Original. In this case, the message was in Spanish, so you'll be able to view that if needed or if required or requested. You'll also be able to compose a message to this particular family here, and when sending, you can select if you want it to go to all the recipients or just one. And using these three dots, you can also view the students' details, what classes they're a part of, their family's information, who shows my roommate's dog, and whether or not they have downloaded the optional Talking Points for Parents app, or if they are just using the good old text messaging system and SMS. Go back to our message threads here. You can delete message threads by swiping over and viewing that red trash can. We hope you're not deleting any message threads, but in the case that maybe it's old information that you don't want to have cluttered in your inbox anymore, you can do so. Next to that will be your classes list. For each individual class, you'll be able to view the information. You can send announcements directly to that class period, as well as viewing the past announcements that have gone to those students and families. You can click the little eye icon and view the information, what school it's being provided to you from, if you work at multiple buildings, the students that are part of that class. Again, you can click on that students list and view the same information. And you can view any staff members who are also part of this class. If you have any co-teachers or assistant teachers who work with these students as well, they can be shared by your school administration. If you click on the three dots, you can also, again, view the student list. You will not likely be able to add or edit students in this class because, again, your information is being provided by your school and district. And last but definitely not least is your profile section. You'll be able to view similar information as you did on your computer, but again, if you're only using the Talking Points for mobile application, that's a great substitute. You can click on this little pencil icon on the top to edit your profile. You can actually add a profile photo, which not a lot of folks know, but the profile photo will be sent and viewed by families who are using the Talking Points app. So that makes it a lot more personal. I've seen some teachers who are using their Bitmoji. Some of them maybe have pictures of their pets or family members. Completely up to you. And again, that image will only be viewable by families who have downloaded the Talking Points for Parents app. You can set your second language here and it will match whatever has been set on your computer. You can view your monthly summary. You can change your password, your notification settings, which are pretty important. The only difference here will be push notifications. Since this is an app like any other app, you will be sent push notifications, which are just those little banners that come on your phone. And your office hours will be set exactly the same way as they are on the computer. So you can't, unfortunately, have office hours for your computer and different ones for your phone. They will match exactly. You can also change your email notification frequency or turn them off overall. Below that, you have your school settings, which is where you can again set your role, your grades, your subjects, and your teacher's signature. And from the app, you can also access our support, whether it be the help articles that we have that are all ready for your viewing, or you can click on support, and if you have not found the answer to your question in our help articles, you can start a chat with a member of our team who will be able to assist with your problem. We really do recommend using the articles as a first line of defense since we are still a fairly small team and are not able to get to all requests as quickly as we'd like. But if you have gone through our articles and really are just confused and don't find the answer to your question, feel free to start a chat with us. You can also log out of your account here from the application as well. And that about covers it for the Talking Points mobile and website applications. I really hope that you've enjoyed the information that I provided to you today. And we're really looking forward to being able to help you more effectively communicate with your families this school year.